What is up, everybody? This is your boy, Teran Rodriguez, bringing you another edition of Set Point. And this is the Season 1 finale. I can't believe I'm actually saying that, but it is indeed the Season 1 finale. A lot to talk about today. First, we have a guest today. He goes by the name of Hunter Dickey, and he is going to be my guest. We're going to talk about Orange Coast College men's volleyball, a little about Stanford men's volleyball. We might throw in a little about the coaches as well that coach Mr. Hunter Dickey. Also, the SEC has released their women's volleyball schedule. The SEC women's volleyball schedule is released. Which teams will be facing which teams, and which team will be the favorite to come out on top. Also, we have some women's volleyball commitment news, as certain players will be going to certain colleges in the near future. Don't worry, it won't be USC anytime soon. All that and more here on Set Point. This is Teran Rodriguez bringing you the Season 1 finale of Set Point here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. And welcome everybody to another edition of Set Point. This is indeed the Season 1 finale. So it is, I can't believe it's actually here. Season 1 finale. It was supposed to be a couple weeks ago, but I didn't know which was going to be which. So without any further delay, let's introduce our guest who is politely waiting. So my guest is a former Orange Coast College men's volleyball player, and he is actually a current Stanford men's volleyball player. He just enrolled in Stanford, and this guy is an overall amazing person all around. Like, if you drop your slice of pizza on the ground, he will give you one of his slices if he has two. If you drop your ice cream cone on the ground and he has two, he'll give you one of his, if he hasn't licked it yet. You get the rest. So without any further delay, introducing my guest for the Season 1 finale, the one, the only, Mr. Hunter Dickey. Hunter, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, Steve, I'm doing great, man. Oh, wow, you're talking me up.
Absolutely, Hunter. Hey, great to have you on the show, brother. Thank you for taking time out of your busy day to being on. It's great to have you aboard, man.
No, thank you, dude. From one OCC Pirate to the other, I'm stoked to be here. Stoked to be talking with you.
Yep, same here, and it's great to have you on, man. Now, without any further delay, let's get into the final interview of Season 1. Let's sound that thunder.
Woo.
Thunder has been sounded, and now it's time to jump on into this interview. But first, a little disclaimer. So these are the opinions and thoughts of myself, Teran Rodriguez, and of Hunter Dickey. These are not the thoughts of IE Sports Radio, Long Beach State University, Stanford, Orange Coast College, Huntington Beach High School, Newport Harbor High School. You get the rest, okay? These are just all of our own thoughts and our thoughts alone. So just in case the fun police is out there, you get the point. So, anyway, now let's dive on into this interview like a libero. So, Hunter, the floor is all yours, my brother. Feel free to talk to the people, like who you are, where you're from, and how you got into volleyball.
Totally. Hi, everybody listening. My name's Hunter Dickey, and I'm a South African who moved here to America, as you can tell by the accent, when I was pretty young. Went to Huntington Beach High School, Orange Coast College, and now Stanford University. Super stoked on that opportunity. I'm a political science major in college right now. I'm stoked to be doing that. And a volleyball player as well. And I got started playing volleyball when I was 14 years old. I was a football player, basketball player, and one of my buddies, Trent Williams, he also played at OCC. He actually, when we were kids, back in Dwyer Middle School, right before Huntington, he said, "Hey man, I know you're playing these sports, but I play a really cool sport called volleyball." And I was like, "Okay, cool." And so he pulled me into a club tryout in the middle of fall, and the rest is history. That's why I got started playing the sport, and I love every moment since.
That's great to hear, Hunter. Great stuff, man. All right, so now let's turn back the time machine. Let's hop in the time machine and turn back the clocks. Back to 2019. 2019 when there wasn't any COVID or murder hornets or any of that stuff. So you were a freshman at Orange Coast College. What made you want to go to a junior college? Because most of my guests have actually been junior college volleyball players.
Awesome, yeah. So out of high school, I was like a lot of other young volleyball players, wanted to go play D1 at one of the big schools in California, one of the UCs or Stanford SC. And like my senior year in May, right before decision day, I didn't know where I wanted to go. I was like, I know I want to go to a big school. I had some opportunities, but I couldn't make the decision. And so my parents were like, "Hey, the one school that you got into that you hadn't visited was UC Santa Barbara." And I was like, "Okay, cool. I guess we have to go visit it on decision day, right?" And then make that decision in the evening. So we drove up to UC Santa Barbara from Huntington Beach, and yeah, I literally fell in love with the place. It was like pulling up to like some like college in the movies type of thing. The beach was right there. There were surfboards next to the bike racks. I was like, this is where I want to be, a big 4-year, play volleyball. But near the end of the visit, we stopped to get some pokey at one of the local shops in Isla Vista. And I was with my parents, and we started praying about it. And I was like, you know what? I want to make a good decision and really want to prep myself well for the future here. And so felt like praying about it was the next logical step. And I felt just this thing. I was like, I don't need to go here. There's another place that I need to go in this next season. And I mean, you can call it what it is. I think it was God speaking and saying, "Hey, there's another opportunity that I have, another place for the next 2 years." And at that point, just prayed about it some more and felt Orange Coast College. I had known Travis because I played at Balboa Bay Volleyball Club in Southern California. And if you all know Travis Turner, he's the head men's volleyball coach at Orange Coast College. And he's a director of Balboa Bay. And he was the one who would help me get recruited to these schools for the past couple of years when I was in high school. And, yeah, it was pretty funny on the drive home from UCSD. I felt, you're going to OCC. And so I called Travis up and said, "Hey, Travis, I think I'm playing for you in the next 2 years." So that's how I made that decision, and it's honestly been the best decision ever. I'm so grateful for it.
Great stuff. And, yes, Travis Turner was a guest on Set Point way back in May, and he is just an overall great guy. So for those that Hunter, my next question is, for any up-and-coming volleyball players that don't know where they want to play college volleyball and are thinking about going to a junior college, what advice could you give them?
Totally. I'd say this is a big decision. Keep an open mind. I know for 4 years in high school, up until the last second, I was dead set on going for the 4-year route. But going to a junior college, again, like I said, one of the best decisions I've ever made because it gives you 2 years to save a ton of cash. If you guys know how much college costs nowadays, it's insane. But also to stay local and pursue a athletics career that could allow you to transfer, like I was fortunate enough to schools like Stanford. It's a great investment financially, it's a great investment for family, and it's a great investment for athletics and education. So I say keep an open mind. It is worth it.
Absolutely, and I can advocate for junior college as well being one of the better choices, not just for athletes, but for non-athletes as well. You know, you save a lot of money, and you just have a great time, and you stay close to home. So, just my take.
Totally.
So Stanford is one of the toughest schools to get into. I think that's like a 3%-ish chance of getting into Stanford. How were you able to continue to steer the course and get into Stanford, eventually get into Stanford, and walk on there? Yeah.
Yeah. One thing I'll say, I'll give a little pitch for Orange Coast College here, my opinion about them. It is an amazing institution that will prepare you if you're choosing to go to junior college for the academic workload that a 4-year like Stanford will have. It is amazing, and the people you will meet, the connections, the advisors that help steer your path, like you're mentioning, T, are amazing, and they will definitely help me point myself in the right direction and put my best foot forward. That goes from like Travis and the coaching staff at volleyball to my academic advisors and my professors, because the junior college goal is to transfer. You go there with the intent of, I would like to get the best GPA I can to prepare myself for my best future. And everyone there is equipped and wants to help you succeed with those goals, from professors all the way down. And it's, I think that kind of environment is what really helped me. Like you said, it's a 1% acceptance rate for transfers. And, you know, it's a lot of people. It's not just one kid getting into Stanford. There was a whole family behind me at OCC that was really helping me out and steering me in that direction and helped me make this thing happen.
Great stuff. Now, other than Travis Turner, there were other assistant volleyball coaches such as Mike D'Alessandro, a.k.a. Deli, Vinny Rodriguez, Stephen Duho. What were things you learned from those other coaches as well as Travis Turner?
Yeah, no, the coaching staff was amazing. From Deli, you want to know volleyball stuff, Mike, he's one of the best defensive, if not the best defensive volleyball player in the history of the sport. So he's taught me a lot about playing good defense as a setter opposite, position that doesn't typically have to work on those. But yeah, Mike, he definitely taught me how to be resilient and how to really trust myself as a volleyball player. Man had a lot of trust in me, and for that, I mean, I'll always be grateful. Vinny, love Vinny to death. He played my position. He also played overseas, and so, I mean, the man is truly like someone I look up to as like a mentor, but also like an older brother. Because he's already walked that road, and so what I learned from Vinny was, I mean, keep your head up, keep your goals out in front of you. If your goals don't feel crazy, they're not hard enough, you know? They're not far enough down the road. Because, I mean, yeah, he made it happen. He got his degree abroad, and that's something I want to do. So he's definitely kept my eyes up throughout the SEC process. And Steve is one of the most positive human beings I have ever met, let alone been able to play under. He definitely taught me how to keep a positive attitude when things weren't going our way. And specifically, as you know, in this 2020 spring, when our season was cut short, Steve was one of the first people to like just reach out and have my back, really, and just say, "Hey, everything's gonna be okay, man. We're gonna get through this." He would do anything. He talked about pizza and ice cream in the beginning. You know, even if he only had one slice, he'd give it to you. So that's the kind of guy Steve is.
Well, the funny thing is that in my introduction, I said, I said regarding you, I said, if you drop your slice of pizza on the ground, he will give you another if you have two slices. So I definitely think if you had one slice, you would probably give your last slice to someone else that just dropped their slice. Just me though.
Thanks, dude.
So, in your 2 years at Orange Coast College, what were some of your more memorable moments with the Pirates?
You know what? I know a lot of athletes say this, but some of the most amazing times I've had were the bus rides with the team. If we're going for the athletic stories, those are the times that really, you know, make a team. It really brings us together. It was amazing, you know, driving the boys down to like San Diego, stopping and getting food, just being together. Those are the memories I'm going to cherish because the coaches were there too, because they were driving or sitting shotgun. It's really those moments when you get to be a family that really stick out to me as what I'm going to take away from Orange Coast College. the conditioning, the first 3 weeks, the hell weeks that we have to do. It really tested our mettle, but it really tested like what we wanted to give to this program and what we wanted to get out of it. And it really put everyone on the same page and changed my outlook as an athlete, because it's from day one. It takes everything to try to win a championship. It takes everything to be a good teammate. And those are definitely the takeaways I'll always have and cherish.
All right, now let's hop back into the time machine and go back a few more years, back to your high school days at Huntington Beach. So your freshman year, you were pretty much witnessing the end of the TJ DeFalco, Josh Tuaniga era. Where were you at that time in terms of volleyball, and what did it feel like seeing Josh and TJ just freaking dominate, and as well as like other players, of course?
Of course. You know what? That whole dynasty was incredible. It was just being in the gym and the atmosphere with those guys, just seeing what they were able to accomplish these past 4 years. I wish I had spent more time just being like, hey, can I get extra setting reps off you? Because I was a young, 6'2" setter back then, 6'1" setter, little freshman. But, yeah, just looking up to them, that's really, I'd attribute a lot of those practices, just getting to be there, as my early motivations in playing volleyball. From going to those early club things, I started at the HBC, which is a club in Huntington Beach, and that's where they played. And I was like, oh my goodness, these guys are insane. They're just bouncing balls left and right, jumping over me. And those are some special players, and even guys like Eric Beatty, who was a year after them. He went and played at Stanford. He just graduated this year. And, that's also where I kind of got that taste of, dang, it would be amazing to go from Huntington like these guys did before me and go try to do something at a school like Stanford. And so, it was a good motivation, T. It was really a blessing to be there.
So when you finally made varsity, whenever that was, what was it like learning under Craig Pizzanti, who has pretty much been a pioneer in terms of coaching at Huntington Beach High School, who I also had on as a guest on Set Point a month ago?
No way, that's so cool. Craig, love Craig. His coaching style is very much put your money where your mouth is. That's the way I'll describe it. Because I guess the drills I remember the most from sophomore year to senior year when I was on varsity were the drills after we just played a huge match, scrimmage against each other, all the guys. He'd be like, okay, I'm going to single you out, Hunter. You got to make this many jump serves in whatever pocket. We're going 5-16 or something. And if you don't make it, the whole team runs. So it's pressure on is the way I describe it. And it was awesome because it taught me a lot of confidence in my game. But also to know that my team's got my back, and you got to be able to step up in those moments when your team needs you the most. Definitely say it was a great coaching or playing experience from a player's standpoint under Craig.
Back at Huntington Beach High School, what were some of your favorite memorable moments? And this can range from being on the underclass teams, or it could be from one of the varsity teams.
Man, these are some good memories. Thank you for taking me down memory lane. I'd say the first one that pops up is definitely it's a memory that it's a hard one because we had this streak my second year. We were trying to continue what TJ and Josh set out to do with 121 consecutive wins. I think we still hold that record for the most in men's volleyball. Mm-hmm. And what was it? I wasn't starting because I was a sophomore. I think I was a second setter behind Tanner Woods, who's a phenomenal setter. And it was hilarious. I had a mission trip I was going on in the middle of the season. And you're like, okay, guys, just please, let's not lose. I'll be back in 2 weeks. And it had nothing to do with me not being there. But 2 days into me going abroad, I get a phone call that the streak had been snapped, and I was like, oh no. I was like, the one thing. But yeah, no, it was a great memory because that team was resilient. I think that's a huge takeaway I've had from Huntington, even to OCC, and now Stanford trying to save our program. It's resilience in men's volleyball is huge, and I've been fortunate to be a part of a lot of really resilient programs, from COVID to the streak, bouncing back from that, to now trying to save a program. So, yeah.
And this is probably going to be one of your... This is probably not going to make you happy, but I actually... the school that... Or the team that did snap the 121-game win streak was my alma mater, Newport Harbor. Oops.
I've been trying to forget that, dude.
Oops. Our bad. So were you a part of the second time around against Newport Harbor? And if so, how did it feel getting, like, say, revenge on the Sailors after snapping the streak?
Well, in men's volleyball, it's all about one, having that kind of chip on your shoulder and motivation to come back, especially when you've been, like you said, big match with a lot on the line. I feel like that match coming back the next time was, how you describe it's like you got nothing to lose at this point, right? I feel like the pressure kind of came off us back then, and we were like, you know what, we're just going to try to play our game. Good team, great team, but we're also a good team. And now it felt like everything just hit a reset button when we came back, which I think was really good for our team that year. And moving forward, just the mentality of, every match is separate from the one before and the one after. All you can control is the moment and play and the touch that you're getting on the ball. So it really felt good, man, especially because it is your alma mater.
Yes, and funny thing is that in the first game between Newport and Huntington didn't have they not only didn't have you, they didn't have Davey Kim, which kind of made the
big middle.
Yeah, that probably would have made the difference. And the funny thing is that the second time around, Davey does return, but Newport doesn't have one of their middles. He's not available as well, so. So talk about the returning the favor. So, whoops.
I know, right? Isn't it funny how that kind of happened?
Yeah. Coincidence? I don't think so. So,
right.
Anyway, this kind of leads me into my next question. What have been some of your favorite gymnasiums to play on the high school level?
Oh man, dude. That's a good one. You know what? Being a Balboa Bay alum as well, in terms of club, we got to play at Newport Harbor a lot. And I loved, the low ceilings there are way different in terms of, what your game strategy looks like. Is you have to pull your passes way down, you have to be ready for all this junky stuff that you don't. Like in Huntington's gym, we got a pretty high ceiling. I know Edison, Fountain Valley, even CDM. So I'd say that one was pretty fun to play in all the time because you never knew what was going to happen. It was like a lot of on-fly adjustments. I did like CDM's gym too, just because there's been some big matches. They were a powerhouse in my senior year, and so I knew going in that gym, it was always fun to be like, you know what? I know that they're right now ranked number one, but it's fun coming in as an underdog. So I'd say definitely outside of Huntington Beach, which is obviously the favorite, I'd say Newport and CDM. Those are pretty fun gyms to play in.
Yeah, to me, Newport Harbor has that old school type feel. Like they have an old school gym.
Yeah, no, and they renovated. The renovation was awesome a couple years back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and same with CDM. They had their gym renovated as well, and they have a low ceiling too. Hardly a whole lot of teams win at Corona Del Mar. The only recent team that beat CDM at CDM is Santa Barbara, which was kind of a surprise, but not too much of a surprise because they did have a future teammate of yours being Will Rotman. So there's that. So do you have? So sorry about that, Hunter. So as you are in your, go back into the time machine and zoom toward the present. So with this season, what what gymnasiums are you looking forward to playing in the most, or a better question, what gymnasiums are you looking forward to visiting the most? Because there are a lot of good gymnasiums, but I'll let you decide because it's your answer.
Yeah, no, totally. Yeah, trying to sway me. Yeah, so, I mean, well, first, I'd say I really hope we have a season. I hope we get that vaccine. I hope we figure this out so that we can actually get playing again and get volleyball started up. That's the first thing. But if that were to happen and we could travel, I'm going to say theoretically, the top two that I can think of that are not Stanford Maple Pavilion would definitely have to be University of Hawaii main gym. That place is crazy. So many fans all the time. And then BYU Fieldhouse because, oh my goodness, that is a unique spot. It really reminds me of Newport, which is kind of that old feel. But again, I mean, if you've seen any matches there, it is packed, it is tight, everyone's like almost on the court. So yeah, those would definitely be two away games I would love to play in this next season if we're able to.
Oh, and I'm absolutely looking forward to it, and I hope Stanford gets to play Long Beach State soon. I'd like to see you again. And the Pyramid, let me tell you, the Pyramid, and not to be biased because I am a Long Beach State student, but the Pyramid is definitely a place that most players love to play at. Most volleyball players love to play at. So definitely, hopefully we do get to see Stanford playing. But I don't fault you for saying Hawaii, considering their fans are raucous, man. And same with BYU's.
Yeah. So much more the fans, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And they're passionate when it comes to volleyball. Somewhat, they're also pretty passionate when it comes to football as well, but mainly volleyball. Just my opinion.
No, I agree with you.
All right, so now I gotta shift into a little bit of a serious tone, but we're gonna keep it a little fun. So, Stanford obviously broke the news that they'll be cutting 10 other programs as well as the men's volleyball program. What was that feeling like, knowing that this was pretty much your last season of play? If they can keep it going, because knock on wood, I think they'll still keep it going. They'll still have the program.
Yeah. Me too. I think we have the ability and the resiliency to make this thing happen and save the program. But yeah, I mean, the initial reaction was just, it was shock. Kind of like a grieving process, I just found out we'd gotten in like a month, 2 months right beforehand, and there were no like big indicators that this was going to happen. And so we thought, oh, sweet, we're going to have a season outside of COVID complications. Everything's going to go swimmingly. But then, like, July 8th, I got an email, and it said, hey, we have some athletic updates for Stanford University if you want to hop on a webinar for Zoom. And we thought it was going to be COVID stuff. And literally 15, 30 minutes later, we jumped on, and the AD said, you guys are cut. These 11 sports are on here, and that's that. And so, yeah, I didn't think that could ever happen, let alone at Stanford, being one of the top, academic and athletic institutions in the world. So I was like, wow, I'm still kind of in shock about that.
Absolutely, and I was very disappointed as well, because Stanford has won 2 NCAA championships. Am I correct, or is it like more?
No, yeah. So we actually have 2 NCAA championships and 3 runner-ups, the most recent being in 2014. So we're definitely competitive in the top teams out here.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. I just didn't really understand that Stanford had to cut their team. That Stanford's pretty much going to cut their team after the 2020-2021 season. Just goes to show you that 2020 has just been a not so fun year, honestly. It really hasn't.
That's a nice way of putting it, yeah. Not so nice year. Yeah, man. It's kind of crazy with everything else that's, compounding during this time. It's a hard one, but like we were talking about resiliency, we're definitely fighting back, trying to raise money. We're trying to reach out, keep awareness. We got like a petition to save the program, up to over 35,000 signatures. That was been amazing. And, yeah, we're just trying to, wait out the storm and hopefully be able to reverse this decision here in the next couple months.
Oh, absolutely. And you have my support. You have Set Point support, my support, and all of IE Sports Radio support. Like, if you haven't, definitely do sign the petition to keep Stanford men's volleyball because it's a proud program. So, other than that, in regards to the overall campus at Stanford, what is it like at the University of Stanford? Like, and how pretty is it in Palo Alto?
Yeah, it's pretty funny actually. My only recollection was the recruiting trip I went on in October, but yeah, it was a absolute shout. Jaw dropping. I know I'm saying that because I attend here now, but it is insanely beautiful. If you guys are ever up in Palo Alto, once this virus, cools off a little bit, definitely go visit the school. It's humongous. I think it's the largest by acreage campus for any university in the world, and it's full of trees, full of beautiful buildings made of like sandstone, huge arches. It's definitely on this like own little island out there in Palo Alto. So it's very cool, very cool.
Now with the Pac-12 postponing like every sport until the beginning of 2021, what was that feeling like for you, despite you not having played any sports? And which sport were you looking forward to supporting the most?
Yeah, no, that's actually a really good question. Yeah, it was a bummer to see the Pac-12 go down. Obviously, my father was a football player back in college, played for UCLA, and so I have a little bit of a soft spot there. I wanted to go root for the Bruins. But yeah, it was a bummer because you really think that these athletic programs would be able to, find a way. But like we see with the NBA, right? Everyone's we're trying to think on our feet and keep people safe. So, it was a bummer, but at the same time, I think it was for the right reasons that we're kind of postponing these things.
Yeah, it is for the best. The only thing is that when it comes to like these fall sports, like what's going to happen with them when it comes like the spring? Because now, like let's say women's volleyball, they're going to have to like share the gym with men's and women's basketball and then men's volleyball as well. So it's just some food for thought, but it's really going to be a inconvenience for the spring when it comes to all these fall sports having to share the field and probably like share the gyms. Am I right?
Oh, no, for sure. It's kind of a double-edged sword, In our case scenario, we're hoping that, like, men's basketball and the March Madness, like, all of that gets underway. Because if they're able to play, that means that we're able to play as a smaller sport, if that makes sense. If women's volleyball is able to figure this out, then they'll let us on campus. So it's a bit like we're really rooting for everybody to be able to play here soon. But at the same time, yeah, gym space is going to be hard if you have 3-4 teams on hardwood and a bunch of teams on field. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting, but it's nothing that I think these universities won't be able to handle.
So when it comes to like some of these fall sports, do you think the NCAA could talk about a possibility of having a possible bubble site like they do with the NBA, or is that too loose-Lautrec?
That's Toulouse-Lautrec. That was nice. Yeah. No, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility, especially for these bigger football schools, right? At the end of the day, our budgets are heavily reliant on these bigger sports like basketball and football. And so I feel like the universities are going to be definitely putting their best foot forward in terms of ensuring that these seasons happen. If that's, online, kind of pay-per-view type of thing, so be it. But I think that they'll definitely figure it out. I know, I'm not sure what the plan is right now Stanford-wise, but we've heard talks of trying to get, athletic village bubbles, if that makes sense. I know some schools are doing that, where they have, athletes can be designated to, the training areas, but they do class online, right? So they don't, go into these other zones where the classrooms are. You pretty much get, a third of campus you can go on, I've seen like other athletes talking about that. So no, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. But the question is like, is it worth the risk? And I guess time will tell, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it would just be quite interesting to see. I mean, it wouldn't be a bad idea to have like a bubble site. However, it's like you're making the students like go get excuse. Well, even though their classes are going to be online, like they're going to be even farther from their families now that they'll be like in a site, and it's not going to be the same. It's just going to have like a weird feel and a weird vibe to it. Am I right?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I think it can go both ways. You know, like when I mentioned bus rides with the boys back at OCC, I picture that there could be some great bonding times if the team has to be together all the time. And I mean, I don't know though, right? Because then at the same time, like how many people are going to be allowed to be in contact? Do you let water polo be in the same building as volleyball, or the same building as football, or how would they even regulate that? It's kind of it's complicated, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just some food for thought that I've been having the past few weeks when it comes to this whole situation. So, just my little spiel. Just wanted to see just want to see your take. So, so when it comes to this season, what are you looking forward to the most when it comes to playing for Stanford?
Yeah, right now, coming off of this quarantine, I'm really stoked to just get back in the gym. The guys have been super welcoming, and I mean, honestly, I can't ask, given the situation, for a better reception into the team. It was pretty much like, hi, welcome. Pleasure meeting you on Zoom. Let's go save our program. Let's start working. So they've been super welcoming. I really just can't wait to get in the gym with them and just, start working on connections. Start working on connections with my hitters. And really just, we want to put together a championship roster, a championship team this year, and it's going to take every single one of us. So the sooner we can get together and work in, the better. Absolutely.
And which opponent are you looking forward to the most? If depending on what the schedule gives you, like the schedule could be like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
Amazing reference. You're 2 for 2, man. So I'd say, I have friends on a lot of the teams. Some OCC guys are playing. I know Kyle McCauley's out there for SD. But, I mean, right now, I'll take whatever we can get. I'd love to just play. Honestly, just learn, get better, and start playing against a lot of these guys. I wouldn't say there's any particular opponent, because we don't know what our schedule even looks like, if we even have a schedule yet. So kind of keeping that one open-ended. But, I mean, ideally, if we can play our whole conference, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally would look forward to seeing Stanford play Long Beach State, because Long Beach State no longer has TJ DeFalco and Josh Tuanika, but they do return quite a bit of players, such as Ethan Siegfried, Simone Anderson, and a few other guys as well. And yeah, it would be cool. So anyway, So when you first met John Costi or however it's pronounced, what was he like meeting you the first time?
Coach Costi is really awesome. Really cool experience with him. Again, just like the team, super warm, super inviting, super driven. That's how I describe him. I first met him on campus, actually. I had previously met Coach Shibuya doing like USA volleyball stuff, and so meeting him for the first time, we met over a smoothie. It was pretty cool. And yeah, he was like, "Do you want to be a part of this program?" And I said, "Yeah, on the spot. This is where I want to be. This is what we've gotten this far, right?" And so it was amazing. I'm super grateful that he took a chance on me, him and the whole coaching staff, Coach Rasai, Coach Shibuya himself, that they said, we want to take a chance on a transfer. So, I mean, I'm forever grateful for what they've done for me as a player.
Yeah, and I was going to also mention that when it comes to, like, junior college transfers, and this isn't, like, anything of disrespect, but when it comes to like junior college transfers, I was told that junior college transfers have a tough time getting into Stanford and then walking on to their program. Like when you found out that you made you were walking on and you pretty much made the team and you got into Stanford, what was that feeling like for you?
I mean, yeah, to answer your previous kind of statement, it is pretty hard. I think there's only ever been one before. No, actually, no. There was a transfer from UCLA in 1997. So it's been pretty much impossible until this point in the circumstances to actually have a junior college kid show up, I think. You can correct me if I'm wrong on that. But yeah, it was beyond like anything, right? Because the whole story was go to junior college, play volleyball for Travis, hopefully, get into a good school and continue from there. And the fact that volleyball was a part of that, after 2 years of grinding it out with the OCC boys and coaches was like, wow, no way. But yeah, like literally you can tell I'm just in shock of the fact that we've gotten this far, and that we're going to Stanford. Like it's such a blessing to be able to say that and to carry that as an OCC student,
Absolutely, and you definitely deserve getting into Stanford. And let's take it back to spring last year. Hop back into the time machine, head back to the spring, where it was the spring before COVID happened, obviously. So you were named a team captain by Travis this year. So what was that feeling like, being the captain of a fairly young team who started off strong and then went on a little losing streak, but then managed to bounce back?
Yeah, it was pretty awesome, actually. Coming back in the summer, I'd been studying abroad, and like the week before, Travis was like, hey, we're going to try to run with this. Like, these are your guys. Like, make it happen. It was like, I really thank Travis for just that whole, just go for it. Like, he totally believed in the capabilities of myself and my teammates and the older guys. Really, like, we were a unit. As much as I had the captain title, there was a bunch of guys, and we really looked after each other. I can't take credit for doing everything, but I was very grateful to be put in that position to kind of helm up the team, especially a bunch of young guys. Like you said, I had some guys from Edison who were playing. We had some 4-2-4s, some players coming from 4 years. So we had a pretty diverse group of guys. But yeah, just jumping in and just saying, hey guys, like, hi, I'm Hunter, and we're going to try to win it this year. I think we definitely had it, the ability to win this. I know that's what everyone says, right? When something happens like COVID, like, no, we were just getting there. But genuinely, we were putting our pieces together. We were playing as a unit. And yeah, like you said, we bounced back. It's a shame that it ended this way, but a lot of those guys are going to be back this year, and they're going to try to, put a stamp on what we started this last year. So I'm very excited to see what they do and how they continue the culture that we were trying to create.
So now that you mentioned the culture, what is the how would you describe the culture when it comes to OCC men's volleyball and the culture overall at OCC?
Wow. I'd say, in the words of our athletic department, we had a leadership group that we started with a lot of student athletes. And the one phrase that always came back was grit. We are gritty. We put our hard work in. And from day one, like I said, when we're running the stairs, when we're sprinting the track, we're doing 400s because, we didn't go hard on the drill. It's gritty. That's definitely how I say the culture is, because we know, hey, we're a junior college. We're a young group. I mean, even the year before we had older guys, but it was, we're here, we're a junior college, and we're going to try to win a championship. And whatever it takes, do it for the team and grind your hardest. And that's, a culture I think you can build a winning team on, and we've seen OCC win championships. You've seen OCC win championships when everyone buys into that, knowing that it's for the team, but it's giving everything you got for your team all the time.
So the team started off strong, and then they kind of hit like a little bit of a wall, and they had a little growing pains. with a little bit of a 4-game losing streak in terms of like losing to talented teams such as Long Beach City and El Camino. What could you have done that you didn't do in those games, and what could you all have changed in regards to that little 4-game slip-up?
Yeah, totally. As a team, I think something that we probably could have done better on is just, keeping our serves more, intentional on where we're going with it. We have a lot of cannons on the team. Myself, I would have liked to serve a lot better personally, put in those situations, to really just aim for the team and hit it hard. As a team, I think those are some moments, like especially when we were playing Long Beach and it was deep into set 5, like 30-something, like 28 or like 29-30, and just being able to go after it in the seam or something. I think that's something we could have definitely worked on as a team, but I think as a unit, those losses were instrumental in how we were able to start bouncing back and find the pieces we needed. And really the grit that we were talking about, to be able to say, you know what, even though the passes has been like this, right? There were 4 games. We're saying that doesn't determine our future. We get to determine that right now by how hard we work and how intentional and purposeful we are from the service line in our passing, and in our attacking specifically. So, I think that answers the question.
Oh yeah, you for sure did. And in your guys' defense, you didn't have your head coach because he was out a couple of games because he had some personal things to take care of. So that was pretty much your guys' defense in a couple of those matches. But then you all started to get it clicking, and you all put together a 4-game win streak before the season got cut short. What pretty much was the turning point, and what pretty much did you all do, or did anyone of the coaches say anything to motivate the team?
Well, yeah, I think something that happened that I can think of right now is in film, Coach Vinny. He gave us a great scouting report all the time, and I think something that definitely switched in our mentality was being able to be flexible on the fly with that thing. Knowing our hitters' tendencies and being super communicative about it, talking to each other about what's happening. I think that switched up a little bit, moving into that winning streak you're talking about. With the service line, we were hitting where we wanted to hit. It was great. We were able to run a bunch of different lineups, which was really cool too. We had a lot more contributing factors and a lot of engagement, especially on the bench, with guys coming in or out. You literally didn't know who was in the game and who wasn't, because our guys were so fired up all the time. So I think that was a big shift in our team, and hopefully they keep that thing going, because I know they can make some waves this next year. Pun intended, because of the Pirates.
For sure, man. For sure. I definitely think they can. And Deli was even texting me, I think your Pirates are starting to come back to life, because you all swept Miramar, which was arguably the surprise team of the season, having beaten a lot of good opponents. So the fact that you swept them on the road. Yeah. What was that game like, having beaten Miramar at Miramar in straight sets?
Yeah, you know what it was? Honestly, that game, it was the first time we ever played in that gym, but we were just consistently applying pressure. That's literally the only way I can describe that game at the moment. It was just a pressure. From the service line, like I said, we were hitting the 5-6 seam. We were picking on guys. We were able to actually close out blocking really well, really efficiently, and our side-out numbers showed. We were really efficient whenever they had an opportunity to put the ball away. So, that was an awesome game.
And I totally agree. So, now going back to Stanford, how would you describe the culture at Stanford for any new player that's going to be coming in, or for any new student that's going to be coming into Stanford?
That's a great question, too, because I haven't been there yet. But what I will say, from what I've experienced in just meeting with the people, like we were talking about with BYU and Hawaii in the gym, it's more about the people there in the actual gym, right? Same thing with Stanford. They keep calling it Nerd Nation, but before they cut like our 11 programs, 1 in 8 students were actually athletes as well, which is a huge population on campus. And so, I mean, what I described the culture as is they're very focused. Nerd Nation is a thing. I've taken a couple classes now, and I'm like, man alive, these people are so intelligent, and the athletes are so driven. So, yeah, love the culture here. And, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of people who really want to see our program come back, too, which is really cool. It's a great body of support from alumni and students. And so, yeah, I'm very excited to be joining this community and grateful that there's an opportunity to here.
When it comes to a few more questions, and then we'll wrap up. So, when it comes to like playing on the team, who are you looking forward to with playing with the most? I mean, obviously you're looking forward to playing with the whole team, but who in particular are looking forward to playing with the most?
Man, you can't do that to me. These are my boys now. You know what? I guess if I were to run through a play, I'm really looking. Dude, I can't do that. I mean, I'm coming in as a setter, so I'm really looking forward to running an offense with really capable middle, like Tyler. I can't wait. He's a senior. He's a stud. He's a leader on the team. Yeah, he's the one who's really leading the charge and saving it, and saving our program. So definitely looking forward to playing with him a ton. All-Americans, Jalen Jasper. Definitely looking forward to playing with that guy. We have class together, so that's fun too. Wish it was on campus, but but yeah, I'm really looking forward to playing with all the guys. I remember like back in the day, JP Riley. Definitely played against each other. Don't know if he remembers me, but I remembered him back when we were super young. But now, yeah, I get to play with the guy. I get to set him, and I get to learn. I guess that's the big thing. Learning everyone's tendencies, learning where, Justin, our libero, likes to pass it. And yeah, where our hitters like it. At the end of the day, coming in as a junior, I'm trying to be a piece that is able to contribute. That's a part of this team and trying to win a championship this year. So definitely want to learn all the guys' tendencies and be there for them,
So when you all get the green light to go back and practice on the court, what's that feeling going to be like, and how much of a relief will it be to get back onto that court and play the sport that you love?
I think it's going to definitely boost morale, as it would for all these programs that are waiting right now and holding out. For me, I love people. I'm a very social guy, and that's one thing I'm missing with this quarantine is being around teammates and competing with them. And so I think, like you said, relief is going to be the big thing. But I think it's going to really fire us up even more, the urgency that we have in trying to save this program. And just, I think as a team, you don't get much closer than when you're trying to fight for your lives like this. So I'm really excited to get back to the gym with them. Actually get in the gym with them, not back in the gym for the first time. So very, very excited.
All right, and second to last question. So what are ways people can help save the Stanford men's volleyball program, and what are ways that you and your teammates have done to keep the Stanford men's volleyball player going?
Yeah, at the moment, we're getting the information out. If you guys like you totally plugged earlier, please go sign our petition. Means the world. We have a ton of volleyball communities and families all signing that thing just to show that we have this support behind us. We're going to be starting up a GoFundMe here soon, but we're taking pledges if anyone's interested. I'm sure I'll plug my Instagram. It's at _Hunter_Dickey. If you want to contact me. And yeah, or it's at Save Stanford MVB at Instagram and Facebook. That's how you can get connected. Follow those accounts at Save Stanford MVB. That is our primary news outlet for what we're doing, our progress. We're starting to GoFundMe, like I said, getting the word out. So just tell your friends, talk about it, because this is a big program. It's going to be the last NCAA championship team that will have been in the MPSF. which is our conference. If we get kicked out, that's going to be it. No more Stanford in that conference. And for the future of men's volleyball, this is a historic program that it's worth saving, definitely, because it provides opportunities to kids like me who never thought in the world that they'd ever transfer to a school like this. So, yeah, definitely, please go support. Thank you guys so much for everything y'all doing, and I love you guys for sending.
And I'll be sure to tweet that link out when it comes to the petition and pretty much the Twitter account of the Save Stanford Men's Volleyball account. So, all right, Hunter. So we're pretty much going to wrap up on this, but I do have one more question to ask you. And I've been asking this question when it comes to all these interviews, all these COVID interviews, and pretty much, and it's a great way to go out on a positive note and a happy note. So, when it comes to this one item on grocery store shelves, this one item in particular just vanished off the shelves. It just disappeared. Poof, vanished. No one knows. Not even the greatest detectives or greatest geniuses have wondered what happened to this great item, this one item that just flew off the shelf. So, Hunter, my question to you is this. When this whole pandemic started, did you have enough toilet paper?
Yeah, we literally, for like the first week and a half, we had like one thing of Charmin. Dude, we were not ready. That was the most insane panic buy thing ever. I'd love to see like what people say about that, like researchers in the future of what's toilet paper of all the necessities. Man, yeah, dude, we did not. We ran out for a second, but we eventually got some. How about you, man?
Yeah, I was good when it came to toilet paper. So, even some of my other guests have wondered what happened with all the toilet paper and why toilet paper. Like it's crazy.
Right? Yeah, no, so funny, dude. That's a great last question. I like that. That was awesome.
Absolutely, and I don't know if that question will be retired or not, but maybe I'll retire it. But it was supposed to be retired when it came to this other show on IE Sports Radio, but honestly, I kind of brought it back from the dead. So yeah, just for kicks and giggles, you know.
Totally, dude.
Yeah, so hey, thank you very much, Hunter Dickey, for being a guest on our show. Do stay on the line for a little while because I do want to give you a proper send-off. So when I come back, I'll be breaking down the SEC women's volleyball schedules that have been released. So you are listening to the Season 1 finale of Set Point here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
From the home plate to the nets, the end zone to the finish line, here nothing is off limits and no sport is safe. Not what it seems with your host Caitlin Seam, bringing you sports like you've never heard before. Catch me Thursdays at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific, right here on IE Sports Radio. The only question is, are you ready?
Lay down music,
Hey, what's up, BS3 sports fans? If you love listening to the BS3 Sports Show, check out the Weekend Wrap-Up every Monday at 12:15 Central Time, 1:15 Eastern, recapping the weekend in sports like you never heard it before. Comedy, interactive chat room, it's a must listen. Weekend Wrap-Up on Spreaker.com, part of the X Squad. Check it out. You won't be disappointed.
Attention, all sports fans! If you're someone who wakes up each morning with lists of sporting events to go along with your to-do list for the day, then you just might be a diehard. The world of sports is as vast as the ocean is deep, including the major leagues, the minor leagues, the college, and everything in between. This is me, your boy Larry B of IE Sports Radio, welcoming you to join me every Monday evening at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern on The Defining Moment, a show that focuses on what really matters in the sports world, sports themselves, and nothing outside of them. Once again, tune in for The Defining Moment with me, your boy Larry B, every Monday evening at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern on IE Sports Radio, right here on Spreaker.com. We'll see you there.
And we are back for Set Point, the Season 1 finale. Definitely gotta give a shout out to our guest, Hunter Dickey, for taking time out of his day and for joining me in the chat room. Let's hit that applause button real quick. Yeah, it definitely meant the world having him on. He was a great guest, very knowledgeable, really chill guy, and he's just a great overall guy all around. Like, you can't say enough good about him. Like, his junior college men's volleyball coach, Travis Turner, said a lot of great things about him, and he will make your day even if it's a bad one. So definitely gotta give a big shout out to him. Also want to give a big shout out to everyone in the chat room real quick. Gotta give a shout out to Mr. Marcus Losgreat, who popped in the chat room for a little bit. He was probably watching his Boston Celtics lose to the Miami Heat. So sorry, Marcus. I'm kidding with you, Marcus, but it was a great game between the Heat and the Celtics. That game went overtime. Woo! So definitely a big shout out to him. Definitely gotta give a shout out to Dave Friedman, who wrapped up his show about a half hour ago. Actually, more than an hour ago. An hour and 35 minutes ago. Dave Friedman, he said he is being a little funny in the chat room. He's talk about how I lost in fantasy football. Yeah, Dave. Like, whatever. Like, feel free to talk all you want. I don't care. So, also gotta give a big shout to Mr. Robert Kavanaugh, the host of The Neutral Zone. Definitely appreciate you staying in the chat room and taking time out of your day. It is greatly appreciated, my dude. So without any further delay, let's break down some SEC women's volleyball action. Sound the thunder. Okay, it's not that important, but it's whatever. All right, so quick and dirty. The two top teams of the SEC, Kentucky and Florida, do not play each other. I am so disappointed that those two do not face each other. So quick and dirty, Kentucky opens up its SEC season, or its season overall, because it's going to be conference only. It's only going to be an 8-game conference, and it's not going to be everyone. It's going to be at like a site. Both games are going to be at a certain site. So, take, for example, Kentucky plays Tennessee on October 16th and October 17th. Both of those games are going to be at Kentucky. So, and I honestly see Kentucky winning both of those games. Like, if Kentucky loses to Tennessee, golly. Like, heaven knows Seth Seth from IE Sports Radio. I'm blanking on his last name for some reason, but Seth Eves is going to have a field day when it comes to Tennessee winning. So, but I got Kentucky beating Tennessee in those two games. So Kentucky does get a week off, and then on October 28th and October 29th, Kentucky plays at Missouri, and now Missouri is kind of the big threat to Kentucky because Missouri actually placed third in that conference. They tied for third with Texas A&M, but I can see Kentucky winning at least one of those games. If Kentucky splits, then so be it. But if they win both, really cool. So there's that. Kentucky then has another week off, and then they prepare for Auburn on November 7th and November 8th. That match will be at University of Kentucky, and it's actually going to be it's going to be a full week by the time the two play. And the 28th and the 29th, those fall on like a Wednesday and a Thursday, so that's really interesting, honestly. And then the Auburn games are on a Saturday and Sunday. So anyway, I could see Kentucky winning both those games against Auburn. Auburn last year had a dismal season. They will be under the new head coach of Brent Crouch, who finished 1 year at USC, and University of Southern California, not the University of South Carolina. So just gotta get that right. And then rounding up Kentucky's schedule, they finished their season at Mississippi State. That's actually going to be a quick turnaround because they play on the 12th of November, 12th and 13th of November, and that's basically. That only gives them like 3 more days to prepare, so they basically have to pull a 360 and travel up to Mississippi State and pretty much try to beat that team, in which I definitely could see Kentucky beating Mississippi State. I don't see them struggling too much, especially since I don't think teams can scout. I'm not sure if teams can scout opposing teams, but it's whatever, so we'll see how it goes. We'll see. So now let's jump to Florida's schedule. So Florida, the other co-champion of the SEC, they have a bye week the first week, but then they play at Auburn on October 21st and 22nd. October 21st and 22nd are a Wednesday and a Thursday. It's at Auburn, but I definitely see Florida pretty much cleaning their clocks. If they struggle with Auburn, then golly, I mean, God bless America. Florida returns some of their top players, such as Thayer Hall, to name one. So I don't see Florida losing to Auburn. And then Florida gets another bye. Actually, no, they don't get a bye, but they have 1 week to prepare, 1+ week to prepare, as the next game is against Alabama. It's going to be at the Swamp, a.k.a. University of Florida. The Florida plays Alabama at Florida on October 30th and 31st, and for one of those times there hasn't been a time to be determined, but the other one is supposed to be slated for 4 p.m. So there's that. And then Florida gets pretty much like a 2-week bye, it looks like, for the most part. Something like that. And their next game after Alabama is against South Carolina, which, wait, what? Oh, no. Yeah, their next series is against South Carolina, and they're pretty much going to have almost 2 weeks to prepare. Their first game against South Carolina will be on November 11th, Veterans Day, which is going to be a Wednesday, and then the second game will be on Thursday, November 12th, and it's going to be at South Carolina, which I can see. I mean, I don't think South Carolina to me isn't as good as Florida. I'm just going to say that right now, but crazier things have happened. So, South Carolina, I see getting beaten by Florida twice. So, but hey, crazier things have happened. And then Florida closes out the season. They get like a week and a day to prepare for their next matchup, being against Georgia. That's going to take place at University of Florida, aka the Swamp. They face Georgia twice on the on November 20th and 21st, which is a Friday and a Saturday, which Kentucky doesn't get the option of doing. They don't get to play on the 21st and 20th and 20th and 21st and 22nd. And definitely got to give a big shout out to Mr. BS3 himself, Ben Suttereth III. Thank you for joining me in the chat room, just discussing some SEC volleyball. Hopefully the players, the LSU football players catching COVID doesn't jeopardize the women's volleyball sport in regards to this. Like, if they have to postpone anything, they gotta postpone SEC football. Please don't postpone women's volleyball. Like, we're starting to we have only 3 Power 5 conferences. We have the Big 12, the SEC, and the ACC. I don't want the SEC to have to opt out like the Pac-12 and the Big 10 did. Speaking of which, we are supposed to get a decision regarding the Big 10. So definitely keep your eyes on that, and definitely do be wary of that regarding the Big Ten. And I also did hear that the Pac-12 football might be starting in sometime in November or October. I think maybe mid-November or something like that. If that's the case, then bully for them. But still, we have to wonder what's going to happen with the other fall sports. So Ben does say scary, but he did mention the LSU COVIDs. Like, Ben actually had this little joke. Someone called the Miami Marlins the Miami COVIDs, and it's basically been a running gag, honestly, throughout this whole time. So definitely got to give you a little bit of a laugh on that one. Ben, definitely thanks for bringing that up. Yes, LSU COVIDs, but for the sake of LSU, I hope nobody else catches COVID. So definitely cannot have. We definitely don't want anything getting canceled. So please, everybody, please follow with the guidelines. Don't be stupid, and just do what you need to do to slow the spread. So now let's jump to Missouri, the team that finished third place in the the Kawhi laugh. So yes, let's jump to Missouri, the team that tied for third place in the SEC. So Missouri plays at Alabama on October 17th and October 18th. I can see Missouri winning both those games, just because I don't think Bama is good at women's volleyball. They used to be good at women's volleyball, and then they kind of fell off the wagon. So sorry, Bama. And this is going to be at Alabama. And there's probably not going to be fans. If there's fans at some of these games, I'd be super surprised. I think there were fans at one of the Stephen F. Austin games, which was a big surprise, just because I don't know if it were fans or other spectators or whatnot, but it really kind of surprised me that Stephen F. Austin had certain other people in the stands and whatnot. So I guess that's pretty cool, but I don't know. I have mixed feelings about that, but I digress. So after Missouri's little 2-game series against Alabama, they have another 2-game series against Kentucky. Now that's the big one. I think Missouri can give Kentucky a battle. I think Missouri can at least take one, but it's at Missouri, so I think Missouri will at least take one. If not, then if Kentucky beats Missouri both times, then they pretty much have a lock on the SEC championship, or at least a share. Just because, personally, I don't think any team challenges Florida other than Georgia. But Florida is just the juggernaut. There's a reason why Florida only lost to one team in the conference, and that was to Kentucky both times. So I don't know, just my take. But I think if Missouri gets past Kentucky, they're through the worst of it. So after Missouri plays Kentucky, they have a quick turnaround. They play Arkansas on November 4th and November 5th. That's a very quick turnaround right there. I think that is only a 4-game turnaround before, or 5-game turnaround before they play Arkansas. But I can see Missouri beating the doors off of Arkansas. Like, I'm pretty sure that's going to be one of Missouri's senior nights. One of those games has to be Missouri senior night. So there's that. And then Missouri gets a nice little first-round bye until the last week of the season, the last official week of the season, being the 20th and the 21st, where they play at Ole Miss. I could see Missouri winning both of those games. So overall, I think Missouri has a good shot to knock off Kentucky, but they have to. Otherwise, it's going to create an interesting scenario, which I'm going to be talking about in a little bit. So anyway, let's round off the other top tier teams in the SEC, and let's go with Texas A&M. And thank you, Ben. I definitely appreciate it. And thank you for tuning in to the Season 1 finale of Set Point. This is the Season 1 finale. Next week is going to be the Season 2 premiere of Set Point. And I probably plan on going on StreamYard as well. So I'll be on Spreaker and on StreamYard. So yeah, that's a big way to kick off the second season of Set Point. And we're also approaching the 1-year anniversary of Set Point as well. So we're only 15 days away from that. So I'll definitely be on the 15th on the 30th, because that's when Set Point originated. So let's jump to Texas A&M, the other third place team that tied with Missouri for third in the conference. So Texas A&M opens their season at home against LSU. Barring anything that happens with LSU, I can see Texas A&M sweeping LSU both times. Like, LSU wasn't really the best team when it came to the SEC, so definitely give me Texas A&M. Texas A&M had a pretty good run. I believe they lost in the Sweet 16, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, LSU. Well, LSU didn't finish too far below. They finished down below. Finished 7th in the SEC, so I just think that Texas A&M is going to take them to the shed. If not, LSU is going to take at least one set on them. So after LSU, Texas A&M has to pull a huge 360. Like, their next game after their second game. By the way, the Texas A&M LSU games are on the 17th and 18th of October. Texas A&M's next series against Ole Miss is on the 22nd. So after the series against LSU, they have to fly out to Ole Miss, and they only get 2 days of practice to prepare for Ole Miss. But honestly, I could see Texas A&M beating Ole Miss, which shouldn't be too much of a problem. Like, heaven forbid they'd struggle with a team like that. So, I mean, I'm not saying anything bad about Ole Miss. Like, Ole Miss to me, but Ole Miss, like, finished near the bottom. They finished 5th to last. So I can see Texas A&M beating Ole Miss twice. So then Texas A&M gets a long, or TAMU gets a long little bye week, and then their next series is against Mississippi State, and that's going to be on November 4th and 5th. Mississippi State. To me, Texas A&M is going to take them to the shed. Like, Mississippi State last year was just not good. Like, if Texas A&M loses to Mississippi State, like, I don't know what to say. So and the last game series for Texas A&M is at Arkansas, and that's going to be on the 13th and the 14th. And like I said, it's at Arkansas. I can see Texas A&M sweeping Arkansas, considering Arkansas finished 4th from last year. To me, I think Texas A&M is in, like, one of the best situations possible. Like, if they get, like, one of the more lighter schedules. Like, you look at their schedule. LSU is the best of the 4 teams that Texas A&M has to play. LSU is the best one, and LSU finished 9-9 in the conference and 15-13. I don't even think they did not make the NCAA tournament, if I'm not mistaken, and I don't think they made the NIT tournament thingy, whatever it was called. It wasn't the NIT, but it was like, I think it was like the CIT or something like that. So anyway, Texas A&M has a light schedule, and that to me really bothers me, considering, let's say Kentucky, Florida, and Texas A&M all go 8-0. how are they going to have a tiebreaker? Like, what are they going to base it off of? Are they going to base it off of sets? Are they going to base it off of points? Are they going to just have like a little triangle match to like break the tie? It just makes me wonder. It's like, that's the problem with some of these teams not playing the elite teams. Like, Texas A&M has like the lightest schedule, and if they go 8-0, and let's say Florida goes 8-0, the worst case scenario would probably be a one best of 5 match where the two teams can just duke it out, and whoever wins gets the automatic qualifier into the NCAA tournament. Though I did also hear that the NCAA tournament is trying to thin down their tournament field. Instead of being like 64 teams, they may cut it in half to like maybe 32 or 48. So I don't know. It's just some random food for thought. Like I don't know how the SEC is gonna do ties. Like normally when it comes to like ties, they normally base it off of head to head or number of sets won or number of points or something like that. It's more times than not head to head or number of sets. So either way, it's going to be an interesting scenario if Texas A&M and if Florida or Kentucky go 8-0. It's just, again, this is just my little spiel, my little food for thought take. So yeah, that's pretty much going to do it for the SEC. I could just run through the entirety of the schedules, but I don't really think so. I guess some notables for like Georgia would be them playing Florida. That would be a very interesting scenario if Georgia played Florida, and I think Georgia has a pretty light schedule too. Like, you look at their games being against South Carolina, Tennessee, and Bama. South Carolina didn't finish too bad. They finished 6th in the conference, and I think they made it to the second round of the tournament. I'm not sure, but Tennessee finished the same with LSU, and then Bama, was it who they played? Yeah, Bama, they didn't do well last season. But last season is last season. Like, anything can happen this year, and I'm pretty sure Florida would beat Georgia on any given day. I'm not trying to diss Georgia. I mean, I saw Georgia one time play against Texas State. Texas State swept them. But then again, they did have a lot of talented players, and they had a really knowledgeable head coach who had been coaching for 40 years. Nice lady she was. Glad to have met her before she retired. So that's pretty much going to wrap it up for the SEC portion of my show. I pretty much was too distracted when it came to all these matches that went on. Like, personally, I was actually pretty distracted when it came to all these matchups. When it came to like basketball and then college football and then baseball and then the NFL, I accidentally forgot all these matchups happened. Oops. So anyway, quick and dirty when it comes to some of these teams that played this past weekend. Texas State beat UTEP in 5 on this past Friday, but then they lost to UTEP in 4 sets, and this was at Texas State, so I'm very surprised Texas State lost to UTEP. I don't think UTEP is really the best school out there. I mean, I don't think they're a bad school, but I wouldn't pick them to win the NCAA championship, that's for sure. I'm not trying to diss anyone. So anyway, when it came to South Alabama and Louisiana, being the two matchups, a matchup in the Sun Belt Conference, Louisiana swept South Alabama both times, and they are 4-0 to start the season. I want to say that Louisiana is the only 4-0 team so far, the only undefeated team, which is kind of interesting. So yeah, Louisiana, aka the Ragin' Cajuns, had a big weekend in terms of sports, with their football team pulling an upset over Iowa State and their women's volleyball team beating South Alabama twice to move to 4-0 on the year, which is cool. Georgia State lost to Chattanooga, which I'm going to get into a little later. UNL Monroe beat Lamar this past Friday in 4 sets, but then they lost to Stephen F. Austin in 3 sets that same day, and then they lost to Houston Baptist in 3 sets as well. I was surprised Houston Baptist beat UNL Monroe. I think UNL Monroe being in a much, I wouldn't say better, but a much known conference is just kind of surprising. So that's just me, though. So as for the individual teams, Chattanooga, which only had one game on its schedule, made the most of it as they beat Georgia State in 5 sets. So they end their brief little season 1-0. So theoretically, Chattanooga is undefeated. So congratulations to Chattanooga. They went 5 with Georgia State, and they won that one in a very dramatic 5th set. I think the 5th set score was 22-20, which is very shocking. So going down the line, the Citadel lost to Mercer in 4. Lamar had a rough weekend, losing to UNL Monroe and Stephen F. Austin twice. I think I definitely remember that Lamar only had 7 players on for the weekend because it was like 7 because 9 of their 16 players didn't travel with them. So I think it was 7 or 9 or something. It was one of those numbers, but it was definitely quite the interesting thing to have heard. So this is just what I heard from what I heard in my reliable sources. Like I said, Mercer beat Citadel. Houston Baptist beat UNL Monroe, but lost to Stephen F. Austin in 5 sets. So big ups to Houston Baptist. They bounced back after that tough weekend against Louisiana. UTEP split their matches against Texas State. They lost to Texas State in 5, but then they got back at them, beating them in 4 at Texas State. And then Stephen F. Austin went 4-0 on the weekend, sweeping Lamar twice, beating UNL Monroe, and beating Houston Baptist in 5 sets. So that's pretty much your volleyball update from this past weekend, and that's pretty much going to do it for this episode of Set Point. We only have like 3 minutes before the next show goes on. Wrapping up Season 1, I definitely feel a lot more. I've definitely grown a lot when it comes to podcasting, and I definitely appreciate everyone's support. Definitely appreciate everyone supporting not only IE Sports Radio, but supporting my show. Like, it's not easy to follow a volleyball show, especially if you don't know the sport like I do. So I really do appreciate everyone just giving me the support and taking time out of your day. I also want to thank everyone who was a guest on Set Point. I had a lot of guests, and we need to get them their IE Sports Radio t-shirts. And hopefully we have more guests to come. Like, we may not stop. We're probably not going to stop having guests on our show. So we'll see. But anyway, to close the book on the first season of Set Point, I definitely want to thank everyone for tuning in and for putting up with my ranting of volleyball. I can't believe we made it through the COVID season. Well, I can't believe I made it through the summer, considering there weren't a whole lot of volleyball events and there wasn't a whole lot of action going on. So the fact that I actually was able to round up guests and I was able to have them here on Set Point is quite amazing. So if you tuned in for any of those shows, I definitely do appreciate you supporting me in Set Point. So without any further delay, for the last time this Season 1, it is time to drop the beat, because I am about to dip like a banana in chocolate. You feel me? Thank you everyone for tuning in to the season finale of Season 1 of Set Point. Next Tuesday, I will be on StreamYard, and I will also be kicking off Season 2 of Set Point. You better not miss it. For everyone here at IE Sports Radio, this is your boy, Teran Rodriguez, thanking you for tuning in to the end of Season 1 of Set Point. Special shout out once again to my guest, Hunter Dickey. I definitely appreciate you coming along for the ride, brother. I will see you all next week for the Season 2 finale, for the Season 2 premiere of Set Point. Have a great rest of the night, everybody. Peace and blessings. And also my volleyball picks will be on Twitter this weekend. So yeah, peace.